Welcome to In the 661 Youth Voices for Kern, where we talk about topics that are of interest to our community, but also specifically to the youth and kids in our community. Gia Murillo is with the Alliance Against Family Violence and Sexual Assault. Thank you so much, Gia, for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so let's first talk about some of the resources you guys offer and the things that you offer our community, I guess.
Definitely. So we provide services to survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. So our mission is to end domestic violence and sexual assault in Kern County and to assist survivors in reclaiming their lives. So some of those services we provide are crisis intervention, case management, emergency shelter. We can help them with individual and group therapy and things like that.
Give me a sense of the magnitude of the problem here in Kern County. Is sexual assault and family violence, domestic violence, a problem?
They are. Domestic violence and sexual assault are problems everywhere, including in Bakersfield. Something we say often is that on average, we serve about 2,200 survivors of domestic violence a year and about 600 survivors of sexual assault each year here in Kern County.
That's a lot of people. And why, I mean, you were saying it happens everywhere, but what are some of the contributing factors to, I mean, alcohol, I would suspect, would be a problem in some of these issues?
Yes, alcohol or substance use can be a contributing factor. Something we talk about a lot, especially with students out at Cal State, is the media. So ways that women can be portrayed in the media or ways that violence can be portrayed in the media can lead young people to believe certain things about sexual assault, about consent, that can then, cause perpetration of family violence and sexual assault.
Let's talk about it. I mean, because that has been a hot topic of late, and I've seen all kinds of different memes online, if you will, about consent. And what does consent mean? Because perhaps it means different things to different people, but part of that can be, that misunderstanding can lead to problems, right?
Definitely. So I think all of us have heard no means no. We're trying to shift towards a yes means yes, because there are different reasons why someone might not say no, whether they are scared or frozen or incapacitated in some way. So we need to make sure that we get to that yes, and that's what's called affirmative consent. So whether it's verbal or nonverbal.
Because a part of the Me Too conversation that happened recently, there were some allegations against different actors and folks, women who came out after the fact who said it didn't feel like consent to me. I did it because of one reason or the other. But then the person that was also in the situation said, well, nobody said no. There was no kind of verbal or any cue. So how was I supposed to know?
Right.
So you were kind of talking about how we start training and changing that conversation.
Right. So we need people to understand and to make sure that they get to that yes and stop when they're not sure what their partner is thinking or how their partner is feeling. So if everyone is to stop and check in and make sure before they go ahead, will prevent any of those problems.
You guys are having an event coming up, Take Back the Night. Tell me more about that event.
Yeah, Take Back the Mic is going to be on Thursday, April 19th. It's going to be a spoken word, visual art, and music show, and we're hoping to empower and center the voices of sexual assault survivors.
Okay, and everyone can come to that?
That's right. Tickets are free, and there's more information on our website, kernalliance.org.
Is sexual assault let's start with first, I guess, with sexual assault really a problem with youth in our county? Does that happen often?
It does, unfortunately. Sexual assault knows no boundaries, so it happens everywhere. It happens to everyone, no matter age, race, income. It happens to everyone.
Do you guys have any programs specifically targeted toward youth?
We do have programs. We have a prevention educator that goes out and does presentations at schools, at local organizations, hospitals, places like that. We also do workshops and host events out at Cal State Bakersfield's campus, and we try and make sure that everyone understands what consent is, everyone understands how to safely intervene if they're a bystander, so that we can prevent those things from happening.
And that's the sexual assault side. Let's talk a little bit about family violence, because that seems to be another huge issue which can be separate and apart from that, because there's probably a lot of kids that are caught in situations that they shouldn't be caught in their families.
Definitely.
So how is that happening in Kern County? and what can we do to raise awareness about and maybe fix some of those problems?
Right. So, like I said, we serve over 2,000 survivors of domestic violence each year. So that shows how much this is happening in Kern County, unfortunately. So we need to talk to our kids about what healthy relationships are, and how they're founded on respect and trust and communication and not on control. So that if somebody does find themselves in an abusive or controlling relationship, that they can recognize those red flags and get out before it's too late.
And sometimes those abusive relationships happen even with kids too, or teenagers, I would say, right? I mean, it's not just segregated to just adults being in abusive relationships like that.
That's right. That's right. It affects anyone that can be in a relationship, which we know happens quite early.
And it can be more than just, like you were saying, physical abuse too. It can be the verbal abuse, the controlling, the you can't go here, you can't do that.
Right. And it can be emotional, it can be financial. There are lots of aspects to abuse.
And so how can people get resources? I know that on your webpage there's a safe page to get onto so that people can reach out. It happens to men and women, that people can reach out to get resources.
Yes, so our 24-hour crisis hotline is 661-327-1091, and anyone can call that number whether they're in a situation themselves or they're concerned about someone else. They can get information, and that is really the starting point for all of our services.
Okay, and your website's kernalliance.org.
Correct.
All right, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on In the 661, Youth Voices for Kern.